Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining our third series of the JD Edwards Talks. Today, we start off by saying happy birthday, or happiest birthday of all, because today is the 47th anniversary of not Mr. JD Edwards, but JD Edwards, the wonderful product that we are all using these days. So on the 18th of March, 1977, it was, let's say, the go live of this wonderful tool, and we are still using it. As I like to say, let's grow old but never grow up. So this is a fantastic tool to keep using and embracing technology with, and hence this afternoon, I have the pleasure to sit down a little bit with my colleague Begonia Villarmor and my ex-colleague but very close friend Paolo Borriello from Morocco. I will not introduce themselves because they are stars, in my opinion. I will let them to speak to you in the next hour about artificial intelligence, machine learning, what we can do with these tools within JD Edwards. And I would kindly ask you that at the end of the event, you will share us your opinion about how ready your company would be able to embrace these tools into JD Edwards. I see more people joining as we go ahead, so I leave them open to join, but we will kick off this series. So before Paolo takes the stage, I would kindly ask Begonia to introduce herself and what Quistor customers feel about AI.
Thank you, Andrea, and thank you for inviting me to this session. I'm the business analytics manager at Quistor, and for the last 15 years, we have been helping companies with their data strategy, and that used to involve building data warehouses, creating dashboards and reports to basically understand the past and the present of the business. However, in the last couple of years, that is not enough anymore. We now need to provide advanced analytics and data prediction, which means incorporating AI and machine learning. Building your own AI models from scratch can be very time and effort consuming. So I think you will find very interesting what Paolo is going to show today. Some quick wins using OCI artificial intelligence services, not only for advanced data analytics, but also for automating some traditionally manual tasks. If you find any of these use cases applicable to your business, we can talk later. And now, Paolo, the floor is yours.
And not to steal your thunder, Paolo, but if you have questions, as my colleagues mentioned, Francesca, please put them on the chat. We are open here to unwind any concern that you may have. Is it this too early for us? Are we behind the scene? Please don't feel afraid to open up to questions.
Okay, right. Thanks, Andrea, and thanks, Begonia and Francesca. I would like to thank Quistor to welcome me to this event. But first of all, I think it's important to clarify some ideas about artificial intelligence. We have three different terms, which is corresponding at three different very famous acronyms: AI, ML, DL. AI is the process of getting machine to learn and self-correct too. ML is training a machine and is a subset of artificial intelligence. Deep learning is a subset of machine learning and is the algorithm that allows you to use artificial intelligence. Those algorithms are usually called neural network, like the brain, like the human brain, let's say. In order to speak about artificial intelligence, we have also to take in consideration the worth of data. There are different types of data, you know very well. There are the unstructured data and the structured on the side, the complete other side, and the semi-structured data, which are in the middle. Data are important. For a long time, let's say up to now, the companies worked mainly with structured data, large mass of structured data. So the records of an ERP, the records of a CRM, the records of a master file, let's say orders, customer record in general, and so on. But now, let's say there are different type of data. Now, today, the expectation change a lot. So we have a variety of formats. And moreover, other than the formats, which are images, which are videos, which are code, QR code, barcode, and so on, we have also natural languages. So one of the next, let's say, challenging for IT is also to interpret the natural language. Is not exactly an horizon too far, because as you know, when we are in the car, if I want to manage the navigator with the voice, not me because I'm too old, I'm too on premises, sorry, but normally it's also possible to interact with the navigator directly with the voice. So there are experiences on the market. Now those experiences are ready to be used, to be capitalized also in IT. Regarding the data, imagine that let's say the data at the beginning, the structured data that we inquired with SQL, providing a query, providing a KPI. Now also the unstructured data will be able to be treated in the same way. So capture information from the structured data, capture information from a phone call, capture information from an image, from a code, and so on. That is a complete brand new scenario, as you can imagine. From my point of view, taking account, I'm not a tech guy, not a technology expert. I'm a functional. I was an application consultant, project manager, working consulting, pre-sales for applications. So my point of view is mainly business, and my speech will be more devoted, more concentrated, and focused on the business. Let's say the business advantage that we will have from artificial intelligence. Oracle has let's say a big solution as usual for everything, and in particular for artificial intelligence. Is very pervasive across the cloud ecosystem at different level, at application level, service for OCI, infrastructure, and so on. Oracle Artificial Intelligence is built on experience, this is important, with industry. So what the customer already asked to Oracle was able to interpret and translate those needs into product, into a technology stack. The foundation for all AI services, let's say, is the infrastructure. Infrastructure is fundamental. For that reason, we have the OCI supercluster. We have a specific type of network called RDMA, you know very well, are performant network in order to provide information as better and as fast as possible. Also, OCI provide the HPC file system, another storage option. HPC is a high performance type of file that allows you to store data and so on in a more and more efficient way than in the past. Oracle is making AI accessible to everyone through OCI AI services. That is crucial in our explanation. Oracle has built models and pre-trained model based on the industry data that can be customized by the customer and adapt to the different business needs. Infrastructure and experience. So let's say models and AI models are the two, in my opinion, leverage in order to better understand the whole AI ML Oracle cloud ecosystem. So let's go a bit ahead regarding AI. There are a lot of services. You can see in the second line of this slide, there are different services, the OCI generative, the digital assets, the vision, the document understanding, and moreover, if you go a bit down, you can see Oracle database. Oracle AI in Oracle database means autonomous database, but also means, if you see in the right side, vector store means images. We will go through each of those with specific business example in order to better understand the different component, the different services we can call, because component is an on-premises word, let's say. Now we have to talk about services. Have a look of JD Edwards strategy. The JD Edwards strategy is to enable customer and partners to enhance JD Edwards processes with Oracle AI ML. For that reason, Oracle delivered a AI ML connectors, AI ML accelerator is better to call, because an accelerator is not exactly a connector, but it's something that allows you to facilitate the authentication, the movement, the data from JD Edwards to the OCI AI services and vice versa. So in order to better understand, AI will not be delivered as an embedded capability in JD Edwards. Is delivered through this accelerator, which is, let's say, the link, which is the bridge between the different AI services to JD Edwards. That's, let's say, the core of the accelerator. Stack JD Edwards. So first of all, you can see on the right angle of this slide, research. Why research? Because it's something that we are announcing now, we are talking about more than it was already announced, but we're talking about now, but it's something still in research. Example, AI generative is something that are, let's say, arrived very close to this date. Let's say something was announced in end of February, March. So it's something that is ongoing, let's say. For that reason, we don't have specific information regarding how to access the different AI services, which are the pricing for this. At the moment, all information that are public are the information regarding the AI services of OCI that you can see on the oracle.com pricing website. There will be in the near future, we already asked to Denver in order to provide information to answer to the customer on how manage the different services, which are the contract to support this, which are the rule to, if they need to download something, because we are talking about an on-prem apps discussing with an AS services, or an on-prem apps put on the OCI that need to discuss to be integrated, let's say, to talk with another services. So we need to understand which will be the better way to do this. Okay, let's talk about the accelerator. Accelerator, or AI ML accelerator for JD Edwards, will provide, let's say, a jump start to the journey, the AI journey. And so, let's say, the JD Edwards customer can leverage this accelerator in order to solving business challenges that could be solved with ML. First of all, release and tool release. OCI AM/ML is currently available with release 24 and tools release 9.2.8. Those are prerequisite. These are another things which is so important. Okay, now have a look of the different services which are available. There are services, let's say, that we can group into different family. Let's say the service which are tied to the document, which are tied to the records, which are tied to, let's say, the interpretation of the image and so on, and the one which are strictly tied to the autonomous database. Let's have a look of one by one. First, document understanding. Document understanding is an AI services to perform deep learning based test analysis. It can identify key value pairs such as name of the customer, total amount of the invoices, some tip which are close to the invoice, to the text, classify document in category, imagine the invoice, the receipt, the resume, the CVs. I'm talking about the CVs. Imagine in HR working directly with the resume, or imagine working directly with the invoice and identify in the invoice processing or in the receipt processing some information that could be useful to be processed in another business process of the company, or from an invoice to the pay process. Imagine identify some information that are on the invoices in order to allow us to process them directly in the pay process. So document understanding. I don't know if you saw the presentation we have done, me, Bart, and Mark, which are my colleague, we have done during the Application Unlimited days last year. The one I'm talking about, the one regarding the digital assistance. So imagine a worker that needs to inform the maintenance department of a leak of water in the machine broken, egg pressure, egg temperature, and so on. Not only, let's say, have a look of the code of the machine, they're starting the process to create the work order using this code, but also have a look of the policy in order to maintain, in order to, let's say, arrange himself for the different health and safety procedure. Imagine to have all this information that running during the process and appears in front of, or let's say, the JD Edwards functionalities, in order to have a complete look of what we have to do, what the works have to do in order to maintain this machine. So document understanding. And another important service is anomaly detection, strictly tied to the document understanding. Imagine to have parameters in some document, or parameters in also inside JD Edwards that directly monitors those parameters of an equipment example, and have a look of the difference of, and generate a warning based on egg temperature, or I don't know, pressure of number of laps, or a particular warning that appears on the machines, on the screen that control the machines, and so on. Anomaly detection is something that is able to detect a difference between a value and another value. So a value could be inside the JD Edwards, and another value could be inside a machine, or could be inside a document. Or imagine another scenario, cost overruns. Imagine to detect deviation from regular cost to the to a budget cost, let's say, to the actual cost, and then drilling down. So the artificial intelligence is able to identify those anomaly, bring alert, and then drill down and go to change and so on. Or imagine other, let's say, use cases like delay in shipment, delay in receiving procurement item from procurement, or loss in productivity, or consumption of the demand. This is very, very extreme, let's say, business case. But imagine to do this: collect data from the demand, collect data from the consumption, and then identify the different anomaly. But those are not structural data, which is very simple to put two columns and make the difference. This is something that's coming from structural record and documents and unstructured record, or phone calls or voices and so on. Another services, vision. Vision is something that is able to performing deep learning based analysis of image. There are some pre-built models. There will be some pre-built models that allow the customer to adapt those models to the specific businesses. Imagine some scenario. It identify parts in maintenance example. Imagine, let's say, the example of the maintenance with the defect identification, identify the part relating to the defect identification, identify, for example, the inventory levels of parts strictly related to a specific work order, identify the map inside the warehouse in order to identify the location. Imagine also to identify directly the bill of material of a specific, let's say, repair, if we talk about maintenance, or also, why not, a specific, let's say, bill of material inside a production environment. Or example, in very far from discrete and process manufacturing environment, imagine agribusiness. So vision is something that could check and identify the different stage of the growth of crop, of the, let's say, vineyard, or I don't know, fruit crop and so on, and identify which is the best period to start the harvest. Identify also the yield of an harvest compared to the different data that you had in the past year. So a lot of possible use case, and you can see there so strange sentence is waste management and pest control. Imagine this in agribusiness. Imagine especially the pest control. Imagine to control in agribusiness the infestation of the crop, of the, let's say, of the different growing area in which you have to monitoring those phenomena. So just talk, you can imagine a lot of possible usage, lot of possible use case for JD Edwards, for JD Edwards customer, for this type of services. Another services, generative AI. This, let's say, is a services that is available through API. is a service that is able to summarize large document and also to interpret voice and so on. Generative AI is something very new. Is able to interpret natural languages and is strictly related to the autonomous database. You already know autonomous database for other type of usage, but autonomous database is something that is able to store the data coming from the languages and use your languages to query the data. Example is a, let's say, stupid example, but the example I did regarding the navigator. So at the end is something so similar. So you can investigate the database, which is filled by the data coming from, let's say, natural language experience. So like example, talking with a phone, talking with inside a video and so on, and then ask questions and query data. So this is so powerful. Imagine this in production, in manufacturing. Imagine this in maintenance. Last but not least, the graphic services. Oracle Property Graph is a feature that allows you to storage, querying, analyze, and visualize graph data. Imagine to manage a bill of material. Imagine to trace a workflow inside your company, which is already put on a graph. So monitoring the workflow using this. Imagine also to identify the production bottleneck by using from one side the flow and from another side the data. So compare data in order to track process workflow, to track manufacturing workflow, to track, let's say, any type of business flow and identify the bottlenecks inside those flow. Property graph is strictly tied to graph ML. ML, you know, stands for machine learning. This is the repository of the algorithms. The algorithm that allows you to identify the factor which influence those bottlenecks, which were identified by the property graph, and eventually getting alarm for sure and getting a recommendation, because are self-learning algorithms that store data, reuse the data which are stored, learn from the experience, and are able to getting a recommendation regarding this. We are talking about, I am talking about only, let's say, example in production, in manufacturing, in maintenance. But imagine same scenario or similar scenarios in financial. So imagine the impact of AI ML in financial world. 2 weeks ago here in Italy, we had an interesting conference here in Oracle offices with professor of the local university talking about this topic, AI ML impact in financial. There are two different sides of this impact. First, imagine the benefit that AI ML could provide to the accounting industry. Accounting industry is not the accounting department of your company, it's the accounting themselves. So the chartered account, the auditors, is the people that their production, their, let's say, services is the accounting. So imagine the impact that can have in order to compare, to avoid fraud, comparing data against data, comparing data against the reality by reading invoices, by reading documents and so on. So be careful in the future, because accounting industry will be very, very powerful with those type of tools. And now have a look of the other side, company, our customer, and so on. So imagine automation first. Automation of repetitive tasks like financial transaction, in order to avoid errors, reworking, in order to improve accuracy, so reduce the working hours, to check, recheck again, eventually remember the anomaly detection. So in order to identify example urgency, imagine, I don't know, example, stupid example, but just to give you something material, let's say a credit limit which is trespassed, and so immediately the system identify urgency to do something, generate information for a workflow in order to increase or decrease the credit limit or stop those customers and so on. So imagine a lot of scenario. So automation and anomaly detection. Imagine, let's say, also machine learning that allows you with the anomaly, with the anomaly detection to identify, to generate warning, and identify some specific tests to fix those anomaly. And generally speaking, the recommendation. Thanks to the AI, the companies, like your company, can automatically generate a recommendation. There is some survey in the market. There is a specific survey you can find on the internet, contract to cash process. There are surveys that point out that the 50% of the time spent in account receivable, in contract to cash process, is consumed by manual payment processing. Probably are not too much, the manual payment process, but you know the Pareto laws, the 20% of the transaction consume the 80% of the timing, and the 80% of the transaction, which are automatically, the 20% of the timing. So another way to save costs, to save money in financial process. So at the end, AI, ML technologies are redefining business as imaginable. For sure, for me, I'm 60-year-old, so never imagined to arrive to speak about this type of topics. Now the question is your company ready to embrace AI, ML?
And if you press the poll, you'll be able to quickly answer that question. So just beneath the chat, there's next to the questions, there's the poll section. We would really like to know where your company stands and what's the effort you're looking at. Are you already doing something about it, or maybe it's a faraway journey? Nevertheless, I think this was an inspiration session for everyone here. I hope that we will meet again next year and do a demo with one of you guys who is already trying out those. Begonia is looking forward to that, I'm sure. And if you have any questions, feel free to come back to us. What I would like to know, though, is will you join us in the next sessions to come? Because we have already started to plan the next session. One of them is on April 21st, same time, still here. We will discuss a global invoicing solution that we have managed to I integrated with JD Edwards Enterprise One, and we would like to present you that if you're looking for an e-invoicing solution. And on May 19th, Paolo Borriello's colleague, AJ Schifano from United States, the JD Edward product manager, will give us some updates, hot topics that have been presented in Blueprint 4D. Blueprint 4D, an event running at the beginning of month of May in US, and we are trying to bring all the attention back to Europe. So the pool is running, as I see. If you are already making AI ML development, let us know. If you're interested, let us know. If you don't have any plans, there is no worry. We will keep trying to influence that to change. And by all means, I hope this session was useful for everyone present here. Do you have any remarks to add, Begonia?
We have received 2 questions in the chat. I already answered, but just in case other people were not reading the chat. The first one is, do I need to have my JD Edwards in OCI to start using these AI services? And the answer is no. The OCI AI services are accessible through a API, a web service. Exactly. So no matter where your JD Edwards installation is, can be on premises or in other cloud, you can call this API. And the second question is regarding the document understanding. How can I test if document understanding works fine with my company documents? Well, of course, you can use the API, but probably for a first contact is complex to call an API. But this document understanding and all the other OCI AI services have a web page on OCI where you can write your test, upload your document image, and you can test if it identifies all the elements in your picture or in your document. And even the first 5,000 transactions per month are free. So you can test the system without any added cost. So I think it's a very good idea to start quickly testing the system. And if the pre-trained models doesn't fit exactly in your type of documents, you can customize your own. And the first 5,000 transactions are for free too. I think it's a very good opportunity to test the system.
Especially if it's for free. So if you need a little bit more insight on how exactly to do that and take it from Begonia, don't stand back. Give us an email and we can help out.
Yes.
So
if you need more insight, also remember that in learnjda.com you can find documents, videos, link, and so on, but also on YouTube. If you go to YouTube by simply writing JD Edwards AI ML Accelerator, you can find an hour and a half of video of my colleague Prashant will explain in very deep detail, let's say, all the components that are included, all the services, which are included in the accelerator. And is a platform that increase day by day because we have new content, and so is another source to find information.
Paolo, maybe it will not be a bad idea to include those links in the presentation that we will share to the customers.
Why not?
Thank you now for this event. I think it's quite useful. And also I see a question, how can I register for the next event? So you see why, Francesca, we need the links done before the next session. So we will do that. We are planning those ahead. So Alex will send you over the links in the upcoming week. Very interesting topic, so stay close to us, stay close to Quistor. My name is Andrea Istrate, and I was very happy to have you as host today. Thank you very much, Begonia and Paolo, for joining me. And let's start using this. Let's make it happen in JD Edwards together. Happy birthday, JD Edwards.
And stay close to JD Edwards.
And stay close to JD Edwards. Thank you. Have a very nice afternoon. Bye.
Bye.